Hey there. So, I did my best with the audio of this video. This is me editing it now at about 11 o'clock at night. So, I'm sorry for how the audio was. I was testing it out with, using my cell phone as a microphone. So, I did what I could. You'll hear a lot of breathing noises throughout the video. I'm sorry again. I learned from my mistake, and I'll do better next time. Now enjoy the video. How's everyone doing today? So, I don't have a real microphone to use today, so I'm just using my phone because it sounds better than, let's say, a tape recorder mic or me even trying to record off of this box here, I really hope you like the hair. I don't like it. I look like a Arthur fucking Fleck without the makeup. Whatever. This machine I had running Windows NT. Windows NT, for those who don't know, was the operating system given to offices and commercial buyers back in the early to mid 90s. It started with Windows NT 3.1, which was a continuation of IBM's OS2. Now, OS2 was a joint project by Microsoft and IBM, but the project fell apart into the mid 90s and Microsoft released their build as Windows NT. IBM then continued to work on OS2 by themselves, but it fizzled into obscurity by 1998 or so. Now, I have on this computer Windows NT 4, which was released in 1996. It does alright. I prefer Windows NT because it's a complete rebuild of Windows compared to the DOS-based of Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows Millennium, and so on. Windows NT was advertised on being a multitasking operating system, which allowed better management of all the applications you have running in the background instead of just one window running, one program running, and then once that's done, it will go on to the next program, so on and so forth. So you could have multiple services running, though it will slow down on a single core CPU such as the Pentium 1. Now, that wasn't much of a problem if your computers actually had either two CPU sockets or a dual core CPU, which wasn't that common, but a lot of dual CPU boards were a thing back then. Fortunately, this one's a single CPU. Now you can see it is, I only have one PC speaker up here. Well, it's a shitty turntable acting as a PC speaker, but it does work. This has onboard sound, but by default, Windows 95, Windows NT will not recognize it, so you do have to get a driver for it. I already have those drivers installed on NT4, but what I'm doing now is I'm installing Windows 2000. Windows 2000 was the next line in the NT series, NT5, and it is a lot better with computers from 1997 to 2001-ish in terms of just immediate driver support on the CD. This has Service Pack 4, which I believe is the last service pack released by Windows for Windows 2000. So we're going to see how many devices get immediately supported after it installs Windows 2000. So now this computer is set up to do dual booting. So if I wanted to, I could go back to Windows NT4 where I have a lot of applications set up such as email, web browsing, games. I have Half-Life installed on here as well as Counter-Strike, but it's a modified version where I can actually play online with other people. The original version of Half-Life and CSGO, Counter-Strike, no longer are able to be used in a modern sense because the servers that those were assigned to have been shut down for a long time, the WAN servers, or the World Opponent Network. A group from Europe started the Steamless project, I believe, which is a separate thing, but they worked on the World Opponent Network 2, which the modified version of Half-Life has on here, which I'll show you by trying to get into a few games. For now, I've got to wait for this to install Windows 2000. And I'll be back when we get to the desktop. There we go. I don't even have a spot to put this. I realized I had fucking software keys sitting there. Nope, don't trust that. Fuck. Good enough. Oh! A little bit of an addendum. There is a competitor to zip disks, which I tried using at first on this computer, which is SideQuest's Easy Disks. These are a removable hard drive platter, which look like this. That's just a fucking hard drive disk in a plastic caddy. And then what you do for the drives, you got this piece of shit, you slide it right in there, and then you connect it via the SCSI bus onto the computer. Now bad news is, this only has one functioning PCI slot, and I don't have any ISA SCSI cards. I'll show you what one of those look like in a second, if I get this motherfucker back in the case. I like the plastic cases they have for these. Really cute, but some of them, the plastic has degraded significantly, and it's really sad to see. I'll show you an example when I get the SCSI card and the bigger discs over here. So here's one of my SCSI cards. This uses a normal pin port like that, and here is the bigger 5-inch SideQuest discs, and here's this guy to compare. Pretty big. So that tiny disc does 135 megabytes formatted capacity, and here I'll show you the degrading plastic. That's pretty bad. And it even has a little warning here how to handle your cartridge. So that's what the disc looks like there. I don't even know if that's in focus, but it's a bigger, beefier hard drive platter in a plastic caddy, and this is copyrighted 1988. So these were made in the late 80s, these ones in the early 90s. SideQuest kind of died because these things were really prone to failure, but the iOmega zip discs wasn't a hard drive platter in a plastic caddy. These are just floppy disks, kinda. They're super high density magnetic media on a disk, just like the floppy disk, but it holds 100 times more media than this tiny guy. This thing's still installing. Did it freeze? No, it's good. It's just taking a long time because it's the Pentium 1. I think they were expecting Windows 2000 to be used on anything but a Pentium 1 in 1999. I think they all switched to Pentium 3s by then. Alright, that was my little tangent. Back to the, normal shit. Alright, we got Windows 2000 installed after about an hour of setting up. And we're not done yet because I had to go and get the drivers for the printer and the graphics card. I currently have in the PC to game a NVIDIA, I think it's an FX 5200, released in 2003, and this one, being the PCI version, has 256 megabytes of video RAM installed, which is pretty good. So now we're going to take this CD I burned, and it has the drivers for both the graphics card and the printer. That's all we're going to need right now, because as of the time right now, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:09 p.m., I still haven't received my networking card for this computer, which you'll see in a little bit. Good news, guys, I got the NVIDIA driver to work. I had to use an official one and not the Omega drive one. So we've got Half-Life running now. And let's turn up the volume so you can hear it. I think we should be all good now. Ain't that cool? So on NT4, I had a lot more of a problem setting this up because the sound drivers weren't working as I expected. So now we're going to see if this shit actually works. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Look how tiny that is. I mean... Oh my god, that is adorable. Look at that. That's like a few frames a second. I don't know, do I have a frame rate monitor I can check? F3? No. There should be sound too. Where's the sound at? I feel like this is supposed to be making some sort of sound, but it's just not doing anything. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're turning that down. Oh my goodness.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mesa Hazard Course, where you'll be trained in the use of the hazardous environment suit. I am your holographic assistant. Let's begin by stepping into your suit. You can see it suspended up ahead of you. If you see one of these buttons, press it, and I will appear to demonstrate certain moves.
Gotta press the button now.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mesa Hazard Course.
Okay, we don't need to hear
where
this
you'll be
again.
trained in the use of the hazardous environment suit. I am your holographic assistant.
Yep, go away.
Let's be fitting into your...
There it is. This is decent frame rate. Huh? On a 1997 home computer. Alright, let's get this on.
Welcome to the HPV Block 4 protective system for use in hazardous environment conditions.
There it is. Alright, so we finally got the Novell NE2000 network card installed into the machine, so I would say it's pretty much complete the way it is. I finally put the panels on the side, but you can't really see them from there. I currently have the CD-ROM running right now because I'm installing Microsoft Office on this computer, and hopefully you didn't see the product key. That's the CD case right here, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So we're waiting for the first disk to install of the 2-disc set on this thing. The internet browsing on here is kind of non-existent at the moment because all I have is an old version of Firefox, which runs pretty poorly because it's not meant for the modern protocols that every major search engine like Google, Yahoo, Bing, that everyone uses. It won't support these browsers anymore. Hell, I even tried on Internet Explorer. I'll show you this Internet Explorer, what that does. So there we go. Internet Explorer 5. Would you like to make your default browser? Why the hell not? And surprisingly, we got Google on this. Wait, which is this? Is this Firefox? Hold on. It's doing like, it says Firefox on the, oh, there it is. So it loaded Firefox first while I wasn't looking. And then it did Internet Explorer 5. Wow. And like I said, starting up like 4 applications at once, it's not good at. So that's not going to do anything. Click out of that again. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let it suffer. So I'll tell you how I have the Firefox set up on here. And that's with it's with a piece of software called Web1, which acts as a proxy server somewhere else on your network, which this browser on my computer here goes to, asks for this specific website, let's just say Google. It then sends the request out, finds the website, and then it takes all the HTTPS or the newer protocol of information and converts it down to a readable HTML that this browser can then show to me. So it's like a whole level of translation, and it is not wholly compatible with a lot of websites. It can be a bit broken sometimes, as you can see here with Google's search page. You can't really see well, but it's kind of messy. It's kind of messy. So this is clearly not working well while we're installing Microsoft Office, so I'll pause the camera and get back to you when Microsoft Office is installed, and then we'll try and get online with Half-Life and show you an online game. Well, now we got Microsoft Office installed on here. Now we're going to go and try and play Half-Life on a network server. And as I've said to you before, this is a modified version of Half-Life 1, so it does not connect to the original servers that were intended on the Sierra CD, the World Opponent Network. Those are long been dead. This is connected to a newer type of service called World Opponent Network 2, which is a community project which has been held up for about 15 to 20 years now, which is pretty fucking cool. So let's see if it can connect to any of the servers on the internet. We'll give it a shot. Now remember, with 10 base 2 internet, this is going to be really, really slow. It's making lights on the switches over there, logging on to Valve. Trying to get requests from all the servers around. It got one of them, thankfully. I don't think it's going to show me any of the game info, though. Let's see. Yeah, it won't. I've had this issue before. So I think I have a list of server IPs somewhere I can use. I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and I got 3 servers for Half-Life added onto the machine here. Now, keep in mind, these have been up for a long time, and 2 of them, I believe, are hosting bots. We're going to connect to one of the Half-Life servers. We're going to do the one that has the highest speed, Planet Lambda. Lambda, yeah. So these are, I believe, hosted mostly overseas in Europe. It's where 1.2 is more popular at, but we're going to just try and join Planet Lambda. I think most of these have bots in them, which sucks, but maybe one of these days I can convince one of my friends to get these modded versions of Half-Life to play with me. Let's see how good the game is on 10 megabit in Ethernet on a Pentium 1. Actually, the CPU is the exact spec of the minimum for Half-Life, so it's going to just barely run, even with the graphics card I got in here, which I'll put on the screen right here. We'll see how good it goes. Oh, we got something. It's really struggling though. Oh my god, this is gonna run terrible. The damn input lag, I'm not gonna have much fun with it. Oh my god. Yeah, it is all damn, oh, am I in spectate mode? I'm in spectate mode. Spectate mode on a fucking deathmatch server. Oh, this is like unplayable at full resolution. See how slow this is? So this is all bots and such. That's a shame. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is all bots. That's a shame. The planet level. Alright, while it's doing that, I'm going to have to change the display settings so I can even get any playable frame rate. Like 3 frames per second can't do. Now let me get into something a little cooler than all of that shit. So on the screen right now I have a third-party client for Discord, which is a online messaging and gaming application, so you could talk with your friends and call them and hang out with them and all that stuff. So here it is currently running on Windows 2000. Let me just minimize that for a second. In all honesty, Discord Messenger is very, very memory intensive. So 64 megabytes of physical memory isn't really the best to get off of it. So it's really hitting the page file on here. So let's reopen that. So we're going to go to Sipcord's Discord server here, and I'm going to see if we'll be able to see my icon on the office phone here be able to show up on Discord. So this could be the worst way of using Discord in the current year on a 25-year-old PC through 10 megabit Ethernet and then talking to the voice chat using an office phone. And you're able to do that with something called Sipcord, which is you could check it out. There's a link in my description. You'll be able to check it out. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not the easiest thing to set up for sure, but when you get it going, you get it going, especially if you're building it from scratch, like a digital phone service in your house, for example. But whatever, that ain't the point. Now we're going to be here in the Sipcord official Discord server. I'm just going to go to the general chat. And yeah, so Discord Messenger does have support for 256 colors. With Windows 2000 in my display driver right now, it's set to 256, but Discord Messenger doesn't recognize that, so it just does a default 16 colors, which looks pretty cool. So we're going to go, and I'm going to go dial up my extension for the general voice channel here. So we're going to see if the bot shows up at all. Let's give it a shot. So I'm just going to put on speakerphone. There it is. I'm going to dial extension 1001. And since my server for the digital phone system is on a crappy desktop, like a 2 core, like about the same processing power as a Pentium 4. It's going to take a second to dial out through internet protocols. There it is. And there we go. I'm in the general chat of Zipcord now. I see it's not showing up here, so I guess that's not a feature yet with you being able to see who's in the general chats right now. So that's a shame. It is what it is, though. But still, if I had a group of people on a server with, I would be able to test it out, call them, you'd be able to hear it through the speakerphone, and these chats are live. So you have the scroll bars to go up and down. Here's a random one I'm in, this one here. Of course, since it's 10 megabit Ethernet, it's going to take a while for everything to get set up and everything. You know, images loading. This is supposed to be a GIF, an animated GIF, but it's a single frame, because 10 megabit Ethernet is pretty slow by modern standards. The lights are flashing and blinking and all that. I'm not seeing collisions, so that's good. So it's loading this and this big image here and a bunch of other big images all over the place in the chat. And I could obviously make this chat box bigger by, let's see, we can shrink, get rid of the people tab, we can get rid of this the sub-channels tab, so you can make it big like that. You can even get rid of the scroll bar here, make it a little bit bigger, and that helps you out with seeing bigger media like pictures and videos and such. So this is a very cool application to use, but since I don't have anyone awake at the moment to show you off this like live chat and such, we won't be able to do any kind of live communications and such, which is a shame, but at least you're seeing this, which is very, very cool nonetheless for a 25-year-old computer. Over 25 years old, actually. This is going to be hitting 30 in about a year. So yeah, very, very, very cool. Well, I'm going to turn this off now because I think that's about all I can show you today regarding this. We got a little bit done with it. Now I would say my computer's complete, or at least this rig is complete. The one thing I would be happy about is having SCSI being added onto this as well for the external interfaces like my photo scanner, my SciQuest drives, and what else? Those are the only 2 things I have SCSI that really are not a priority, but would be really nice to add on top of this for the complete experience. I have the printer already, the monitor, this. I already told you all this in the beginning of the video. I'm just saying it'd be very cool to have this all finished out as a nice little novelty. Well, thank you for watching, and stay classy.